Hi, I'm Tom Herlihy, the president of Worm Power in Avon, New York. We're just down the road from Owatka Trail. The reason I started Worm Power is that there are regulations now that really limit how much manure can be put on the ground. Basically, the farmer wants to balance the amount of manure put on the ground should be equal to the amount of nutrients that the crops will remove the next year. So as the farms have more cows, they have more manure, and they have to find a place to put the extra manure. They can either get more land, or somebody like me can come along. We convert it with our earthworms into an organic fertilizer, which we sell to growers everywhere across the country. Come on with me and I'll show you how we do it. We're in the dairy barn now on the Coyne farm. It's a fourth-generation family dairy, owned and operated. Behind me here is a Holstein cow that's probably about an 1,800-pound animal. On any given day, it eats about 300 pounds of food and water. Gives you about 80 pounds of milk and also about 120 pounds of manure a day. This is where Worm Power starts. The manure is collected while the cows are off being milked, and then it goes to the separator. This is the separator. Dairy manure, as it comes out of the back of the cow, is like really runny oatmeal. We have to get it a little more solid before we can work with it. The separator squeezes that manure. The solids fall out the front end. The liquids flow down this pipe and go out to the lagoon, and that is what the farmer fertilizes the fields to grow next year's crops for the cows. We're going to turn 100,000 pounds of manure into 40,000 pounds of solids and then 60,000 pounds of the liquid. Here we have the dairy manure that came from the separator. It's been brought down here, and now we're going to make compost out of it. We're going to bring into our composting building our mixture of manure and silage. We're going to load it into these composting bays. In the composting bay, we're going to literally blow air up through the pile because we want aerobic microorganisms to do our decomposition. They're much more efficient, and they're going to just have a feast on all the putrefiable fraction of the material. So many microorganisms eating in such a small space and having a population bloom generates a lot of heat from their metabolism. These beds will get up to 170 degrees just from the heat of the microorganisms. That heat does three main things for us. Number one is it kills off any potential disease organisms that might be in the manure. You know, we all heard about the E. coli and the salmonella in the food chain. This is basically a pasteurization step to destroy them. Number two is that heat will also then deactivate any of the weed seeds that might be in the silage or the other material. And then the third thing is it enriches the food value of it for our earthworms later on. Now we're in the earthworm composting, known as Vermicompostaging building. In here we have our 8 million earthworms who are eating the compost that we've made. They're the stars of the show, and here they are. They're going to eat the compost that we fed them and the microorganisms growing on them. They have a crop like a chicken. They ingest the particles, fragment it off, get their nutrition, and they push out their castings at the end, which is the organic fertilizer, which we sell, and so now it's a soluble fertilizer full of a lot of very good microbiology for the greenhouse growers and other horticultural growers. Inside the digester are 8 million earthworms, worked for 40 days, eating the compost, breaking it down, and making up the plant food that we're going to sell. And at the end of the 40 days, we'll take a cut from the bottom. The material will fall to the floor, and then these paddles will push it out from underneath the digesters and into this trench, and then the chain conveyor will take it over to our screening plant. So here we are in the finished building. We've harvested the material, the vermicompost in the other building. The conveyor brings it over here. We screen it up. Here's our beautiful black rain falling. This is our end product. And today we're shipping 40,000 pounds to the largest organic greenhouse plant we have, where they plant some seeds in it, and then they have to jump back before the shoot comes up and hits them in the eye. And that's Worm Power. That's the power of earthworms right there, baby.